Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. Alright, I had the glitch again with the players showing just their right arm. Thankfully, I cut that before I started to shoot the video, so hopefully it's not gonna show up again. Did the fix again. I had to do it prior to the previous month as well, so this is getting a little bit out of hand. I really hope that all of the park is going to be able to figure that one out. I mean, I frequent the forums and everything, so I know the fix for it, but within any given game, you usually rarely have more than 10% of the players frequent forums or social media or things like that. So for those people that don't frequent the forums or anything, they might be stuck with that bug thinking that it's unfixable or something, and that's a way to lose customers that are very OCD like me. So again, just hope they're gonna fix it, not to bash on them or anything. It's something I hope they're gonna be able to figure out. Alright, so as far as the Sens go, we're doing pretty good for ourselves right now. Of course, we cannot take anything for granted, but it's the start of February 2000, and we are second in the East. So things are looking up at the moment. We have a minor injury with Bill Guerin. Otherwise, we've been pretty healthy all year. The trade deadline is coming. I looked at the trading block and there's really nothing interesting anymore. So there were a couple, 2.5 star players before that were made available that maybe I would have been interested in. Sadly, the only player, the highest rated player right now is Manny Fernandez, and he's not a better option in net than what I already have, so I'm not going to dismantle my team to get him. Other than that, it's a whole bunch of 1.5 star players that I'm not necessarily interested in, some of which show up in waivers sometimes, so if I want them absolutely at that time, I can pick them up then, like I did with Brad Bombardier, which was an okay pickup. Still hasn't played, but still. So February is ahead of us. We are facing the Boston Bruins at home right now, and then we're gonna go and play in Buffalo, and then we have an 8-day little break there. So that was probably around the All-Star game in real life when it happened that year. So let's get going, see if we can keep the momentum we have that has brought us to second place. So Boston is today, they are 26-20-6, and apparently we have only played them at home so far, and we got a win and a tie. So Boston is one of the teams that has given us some problems in the past. Pittsburgh is another one that we've been having a lot of problems beating regularly. So Pittsburgh and Boston are the two. There might have been others, but those are the two that I remember that we've been having problems winning with any kind of consistency against. Alright, so let's go. So they are going with Thomas Vokoun in net. We're going with Mike Dunham. Dunham is having a pretty decent season, as evidenced by his .930 save percentage. Alright, let's get that underway. And we start with a loss, 5-2. Alright. Oh, yeah, they brought it to us. They outshot us 40-25. They only had one giveaway. We had 7. So I don't think we played all that well, to be honest. We took, 12 penalty minutes. They had 4, sorry. Yeah, we only had 10,723 people in attendance, so we did take a 2-1 lead in the first, so Zvel opened up the scoring, assisted by Shara. And then Bork tied it, and then Shara scored, assisted by Nieuwendyk and Joe Thornton. So it was 2-1 for us after 1. Then they scored 3 times in the second to make it 4-2, and then scored again in the third. And it was 5-2. Ray Bork was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Sandis Uzelinch, second star with 3 assists, and Mariusz Czerkowski, third star with a goal and an assist. So Sandy Lynch, one of the pickups that they made. I think they traded Glenn Wesley, I believe, for him. So having a decent season for them. 31 assists or thereabouts. No, 31 assists. That's, very close to Ray Bork numbers. So whenever you're pretty close to Ray Bork numbers, you're doing something right. All right, hopefully that was just a blip on the schedule, and hopefully we're going to come back with a win soon. It is early in the morning, so I do apologize if you hear me drink my coffee. That's my personal fuel. I need that to function, so please be lenient with me if you hear me drink my nectar. No additional missed time for Tampa Bay's Joe Rickey. No suspension for him in Tampa Bay. Still a star and a half player, so can be useful. Alright, we went 8-6-1 last month, and he's not happy anymore. He's satisfied. Wow. I brought us to second place in the East, and you're satisfied. Wow. Somehow it feels like he's upped his standards or something. Alright, Scott Mellenby has arrived at 1,000 games played. That's pretty impressive. He's 33 years old, still a 2-star player, still in Edmonton. Suspension for Montreal's John Leclerc. He's going to miss the next 4 games. Bad news for New York. Brian Leetch is hurt again. God, Brian Leetch seems like he's hurt every season. This time it's for 6 months, and it happened against the Devils. Wow. That's going to hurt the Rangers. We've had troubles against the Rangers this year, too. Might help us. In that same game, Alexei Kovalev tallied his 600 point in his career, so he had an assist. So that brings him to 600 points. Pretty good season. Or career, I should say. Alright, so today on the schedule are the Buffalo Sabres. So as we know, Buffalo is last in the East. They are 14-30-8. So they're really struggling. We are 3-1 against them this year. Only loss came at home, 4-2 against them. Alright, we are going to be sending Mike Dunham again. They're going to go with Manny Legacy. It feels like we haven't been playing against Ashik a lot this season. Feels like they always send Legacy against us. And we won 6-0. Nice little shutout again for, oh dear God, for Mike Dunham. Yeah, I think it was a one-way affair for the most part. We completely outshot them 42-12. Daniel Alfredson was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Joe Nieuwendyk, second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Norm McIver, third star with 2 goals. So Joe Thornton opened the scoring, assisted by Joe Nieuwendyk and Pavel Datsyuk. Daniel Alfredson on the power play from Datsyuk, and that was it, sorry. Brian McCabe scored from Roman Amerlik and Rob Niedermeyer. So that was 3-0 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second. That was both Norm McIver goals. So the first one assisted by Osa and Alfredson, and then the other one from Alfredson and Nieuwendyk. Then finally Nieuwendyk assisted by Yashin and Alfredson. And that was a nice 6-0 win. Just before the long break. Day-to-day injury puts Yashin in the press box. He's going to miss about 4 days. That's fine. I have an 8-day break. Oh, and Petr Svoboda got suspended. He's going to miss 9 games. So I guess that's how Yashin got hurt. Like I said, we're not playing for 8 days. So we should have time to see both players come back from injury, actually. There was no stopping Mark Recchi, who had a hat-trick 3 goals against Anaheim. 7-0 win. Olaf Kolzig stays with Washington. He extended for 6 years at $19,140,000 total. So a year that's going to be 3 point something. Good for him. Alright, Bill Guerin recovered already. Yeah, he's about to be back. So I'm going to have all of my players really fresh to play against the Panthers when we come back. Kai Nurminen and Murray Barron are available on waivers. I'm not really interested in any of them. Alright. Bill Guerin, yet again, very close to come back. Dominic Hasek signs an extension with Buffalo. He's still there. We just haven't seen him. He extended for 2 years at $2.94 per season. So the Dominator is 35 and still 4.5 stars. Still a good goaltender. Alright, Bill Guerin is recovered. Yashin is almost recovered, and there's been a trade between Pittsburgh and New Jersey. 2 unlikely trade partners in real life, I would think. So Michael Sikora and Sebastien Caron are going to New Jersey for Chris Therien and Mikko Jokela. Yeah, I would say that Pittsburgh got the best player. I think they won the trade. Michael Sikora was never all that great, and here he's a 1-star player. Sebastien Caron's probably never gonna become anything. So Chris Therien is a decent defensive defenseman. So yeah, the Devils might have lost that trade. And they're first in the East, so that doesn't bother me. Oh, Bill Guerin was put... I had forgotten about that. Come back to us, Bill, now that you're healthy. We're gonna send Patrick Marleau back down. He hasn't done anything. Oops. Alright, Yashin is completely recovered, so he did get hurt, but he didn't miss any games because we had that long break. So, long break came at the right time. No missed time for Yashin. We need him. We're like completely in the heat of it to maintain our position. Big game from Matt Sundin, who had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Buffalo. Everybody beats Buffalo. Martin Lapointe in Detroit did not get suspended. Well, there are games being played, so it might just be a break for us. I don't remember, that's too long ago, that's 20 years ago. I don't remember if back then they had like that mandatory break that's almost a week long for each team. That was in the CBA, like, you know, they have right now. So maybe it was there. I just don't remember it if it was. Alright, a good game for Tony Herkus in Florida, who had 4 assists against San Jose. Pretty good game for him. Mike Modano is back from suspension in Dallas. They need him. Mark Messier has played in 1,500 games. That's longevity right there. Didn't get a point, though. Marcus Ragnarsson is back from suspension in Atlanta. Al McInnes, wow, longevity galore. Al McInnes played in his 1,250th game. Did get an assist in that one, so McInnes is 36 now. The case of the Stars missing gloves, that's new. I have not seen that before. Okay. After a poor start to the season, Montreal Canadiens' PJ Axelson insists that the fault for the bad start lies neither in his Stars or with him. Instead, he places the blame solely on a missing pair of lucky old and crusty gloves. Said Axelson, I've had them since I was playing midget, and I have no idea why someone would even want to steal them. Seriously, they stink, but I need them back or I'll probably never get a goal again. Well, those of you who have been following me since the beginning, you know I don't like the Montreal Canadiens very much, but a Montreal player or coach or personnel person or fan blaming not playing well on anything but themselves seem very, very, very accurate. So I do like this particular news here. It's pretty funny that it happens the day after that in real life Montreal played Dallas yesterday and they blamed their 3-0 lead that they lost and then ended up losing the game, and they blamed that solely on the referees. That's very Montreal Canadiens-y to do that. There you go. Alright, we are playing, finally, a game at home against the Florida Panthers. We won the first game of the season against Florida 5-2. That was at home as well. That was the only game we played against them. Florida not doing too good. They are 12th in the East with a 17, 25, and 11 record. Alright, they're going with John Van Beesbrook. We're going with Mike Dunham. So they still have the goaltending there. I think it's pretty much everything else that's not all that great. And we won 3-2. 3-2 win for the Suns against Florida at home. We completely outshot them 47-19. We had 12,295 people in attendance. Brian Berard was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Christian Uzelius for Florida was the second star with 2 assists. And Thomas Holmstrom was the third star with a goal. Alright, so we traded goals in the first. Thomas Holmstrom from Arvidsson and Brian Berard scored first, and then Bill Ulder will tie it up for Florida on the power play. Then they actually took the lead with Kenny Janssen scoring in the second, so it was 2-1 Florida. But 3 minutes 56 seconds into the third period, Johnny Wendyke scored on the power play from Zvela and Osa. We were tied at 2, and then with 6:24 to go, Brian Berard scored a game-winning goal, assisted by Peltonen and Bill Guerin, and that score would hold. Oh, Philip Kuba in that game has been suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. Really, Philip Kuba is only an alpha star potential? That has to be my scouts that are not evaluating him right. Surely the game doesn't have him as that bad. Philip Kuba should at least be a 2-star potential, I would think. I mean, he wasn't the greatest defenseman ever, but he was a capable defenseman. At least 1.5 star. I would give him 2 probably. Potential. Now, if he reaches it or not, that's another story. But to have the potential at an alpha star, it seems pretty harsh for him. Again, it could be my scouts that are not accurate on him. And something occurred to me that maybe I'm not getting a whole lot of attendance because I don't have any rivals. I'm going to try here to remember where to look at it. I think it's somewhere in here. So I don't have a rival, so... And it kind of clicked in my head because yesterday, in real life, the Sens hosted the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it was a full arena, which we don't have very often this year, if ever, because people are tired of our owner. But when we host the Maple Leafs, first of all, it's a rival team, but then all of those Toronto fans make the trip to Ottawa because the tickets are cheaper, so they come to watch a game. So that's probably part of why I don't get a lot of fans sometimes, is because I don't really have any rivals. So I could probably, if I were to have a rival, I could potentially up my attendance on those games at the very least. But I have a potential rival in Montreal Canadiens, but I haven't made it to that yet. So 8 years into my sim, and I don't have a rival. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I haven't made the playoffs very often, and usually that's how really rivalries are going to develop. So I guess I'm okay with not really having a rival. Then I can't say that in 2000 that we were seen as having a huge rivalry with anybody. Really, the rivalry with Toronto developed during the playoffs. Anyway, alright, the team is happy. Sorry, I usually don't come in here, so I figured we can at least take a quick look. Alright, so fan happiness is at 76 right now. Alright. So that was our short stop looking at that. So I kind of went a little bit off track here, but I think maybe that makes sense. When we start having rivalries with teams like Montreal and stuff like that, maybe those games are gonna bring back more fans. Alright, so Cam Neely is back from suspension in Boston. Alright, we are now playing in Montreal. Montreal is 28, 16 and 9. They have the same amount of points as us, but we are considered second because Montreal has a bunch of ties while we have 2 more wins. We're 1-2 against Montreal, so last time we did play in Montreal, we did beat them 3-2, so we're playing in Montreal again, so let's just replicate what we did then and win. I don't want for them to leapfrog us into the standings. Alright, we are going with Tommy Salo in net. They are going with Patrick Roy. And we lost 4-3, so they are leapfrogging us. We outshot them 42-30. Patrice Brisebois was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Joe Nieuwendyk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Vincent D'Anfous was the third star with 2 goals. So we traded a pair of goals in the first period. So Montreal scored first, then 25 seconds later, Vili Peltonen tied it from Bill Guerin. And then, 17 seconds after that, Joe Nieuwendyk gave us the lead, assisted by Guerin and Peltonen. And then, and then they tied it up with Vincent D'Anfous. So all of those 4 goals were scored in 55 seconds. So there's been 4 goals scored in 55 seconds in Montreal. Wow. Alright, so it was tied 2-2 after 1. Then we traded goals in the second. D'Anfous scored, and then Marian Osa tied it up on the power play from Zvela and Nieuwendyk. And then we were tied at 3 after 2. But then Sergei Zoltak scored with 16 seconds to go in the third period to give Montreal the win. Yikes. John Leclerc is back from suspension. Alright, we are going to be hosting the Carolina Hurricanes in 3 days. Norm Miracle is available. I'm not going to pick him up. Good night for Ray Bork. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. He scored all of the goals for his team against Florida. Good game for Ray. Ian LePerrier in St. Louis got suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. Big game for Brendan Shanahan. Hat-trick, 3 goals against Anaheim. Oh, so Darcy Regier in Carolina might be losing his job because of dressing room trouble. The Hurricanes are not doing all that great. They are 20, 28, and 8. That's actually the next team we're playing. Eric Daze in Tampa Bay had a strong game. He had 3 goals and an assist for 4 points. Pretty good game indeed. So Daze not with the Chicago Blackhawks anymore. Found home in Tampa Bay. Oh yeah, he's having a pretty good season too. 41 points in 49 games, 27 goals. I did talk a little bit about Eric Daze in the past because he showed up, I think, on waivers maybe or something like that. I think that he would have been a pretty good player if he could have stayed healthy. I think injuries derailed his career. Alright, so Sergei Krivokresov and Sami Elenius are available on the waivers. Oh, Jerome McGinley is not suspended in Dallas. That's pretty good for them. I always was a big fan of McGinley. He was a star. You could put up a lot of points. He was a leader, and he wasn't afraid to drop the gloves here and there when it was needed. I'm old school. I don't mind fights in hockey. I know that the newer generation of hockey fans think that fighting is stupid and everything. And I mean, I'm not advocating fighting like crazy or anything like that, but I can respect a guy using his face to receive some punches. Alright, so we have a trade proposal from the Phoenix Coyotes. Prior to simming this month, I have put Patrick Marleau. I'm just to gauge interest and everything. I'm not necessarily going to trade him for sure. But just to see what I could potentially get, and if something really good shows up, I will maybe pull the trigger. But it's not for Patrick Marleau that they're making the trade offer. It's for Ivan Ciernik, and they're offering me Paul DiPietro. Oh, Paul. I am not going to make that trade. Paul DiPietro reminds me of the Montreal Canadiens in the 1993 playoffs, where my Quebec Nordiques had taken a 2-0 lead into that first round matchup and lost the next 4. Right, so the Hurricanes are 21, 28, and 8 with 50 points, and they are 3rd in the East because of that seeding back in the 2000s. That just tells you how horrible that division is. I mean, look at that. The next best team in that division is the Atlanta Thrashers, and they have 49 points. So the Thrashers, who is a brand new team, might be coming in first season and end up at the top of the division at this rate. That's how bad that division is. And that's how it was in the 2000s, at the start of the 2000s, too. That division was always weak for some reason, or it was for several years, until Tampa Bay and Carolina started to get better and started to get into the playoffs and win some Stanley Cups over there. All right, so we are hosting Carolina. We are 2-1 against them this year. Let's win this. Mika Noronen in net for them. We're going back to Mike Dunham. And we won 5-4, so it's not the prettiest game, but we will take this. And apparently Bill Guerin got hurt pretty bad. Torn biceps doesn't sound like a day-to-day injury to me. Oh, look at those shots. 64-18 for us, so Mike Dunham really wasn't that good. I mean, he allowed 4 goals on 18 shots, basically. We had 10,220 people in attendance. Marian Osa was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Mikael Nylander was the second star with 2 assists. And Roman Hamrlik was the third star with an assist. So Carolina scored first in the first period, 24 seconds in. Grant Marshall scored, and then we scored 3 unanswered. Osa from Yashin, then McIver from Osa and Alfredson, then Nieuwendyk from Peltonen and Thornton, so it was 3-1 for the Sens after 1. Carolina would tie it in the second with 2 goals. And then Peltonen scored 7 seconds into the third period from Nieuwendyk and Hamrlik. It was 4-3 for us. And Yashin scored on the power play from Osa and Thornton. It was 5-3. And then Pavel Demitra, former Ottawa Senator Pavel Demitra, scored to make it 5-4, but that was their attempt at a comeback came up short. Ottawa loses Bill Guerin to injury. Yeah, he's out for 2 months. Torn biceps, out for 2 months. You're going back on the injured reserve. Alright, and who am I getting? So I have Patrick Marleau that I can get back up, which I probably will do. Yeah, let's get Patrick Marleau back up. That's the guy I called up earlier, so let's get him again. Oh, that's new. Apparently, overnight, I developed a rivalry against Tampa Bay for some reason. It says rivalry here. I've never seen that. So there's like that little, you know, lightning bolt or something, which is fitting because apparently my rivalry is against Tampa Bay, and like it says rivalry in red with an exclamation mark, like rivalry. Arr. All right, let's take a look. Doesn't say that it's a rival here, though. Alright, so technically I should be seeing more people in attendance, right? I mean, that's what rivalry should do. Part of what it should do, at least. Anyway, that's in 2 days, so... Ooh, Andrei Markov in Montreal did not get suspended. Yeah, 5-star potential. I think that's a little high. Markov was really good. I think he's a 4-star potential, though. I mean, 5-star potential is, you know, Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr and Ray Bourque. I don't think Andrei Markov is as good as Ray Bourque. I think he was really good. 4-star, I think, is really fair for him. Just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to put bias into my hatred of the Habs in it. Alright, so we are playing Tampa Bay. That's the first time of the season, actually, we're going to be playing them. So we're going to be taking a look at their roster there. Tampa Bay is 21-30-4 and are 13th in the East. So they are doing a little bit better than they have in the past. That's still not good, but that's still a little bit better than in the past few seasons. So... who do they have here? So Marc Bergevin is hurt, so he's still hurt for a couple months. So they have Brian Boucher and Sébastien Charpentier in net. That's not very good. Paul Mara, Pavel Kubina, Darren Van Imp, Nicholas Wallin, Mark Posmick, I think, Marek Posmick, Joe Rickey, Bryce Salvador. So the D is... it's average, I suppose. Serge Aubin, Benoit Brunet, Brent Gretzky still playing. Rob Zamioner, Kevin Adams, Scott Nicol, Damon Lenko, Gerald Scaldi, André Savage, yeah. Vincent Cavalier, Eric Daze, Rob DeMaio, Scott Fraser, and Jody Hull. The offense is also average, so I guess that, all in all, they are kind of average, which explains their record. Alright, so let's play this new rivalry game. I wonder if it shows something else in the pre-screen about it or something. Yeah, it shows here again. Same little logo. Alright, so Sébastien Charpentier in net for them. Looks like it's their starter this year. He's played 33 games. And we're going with Mike Dunham, playing at home. Go Sens go. First game against this rival. And we won 3-2. Hopefully the fans were happy. Alright, so we had 42 shots on goal. They had 20. And there was only 10,177 people in attendance. So is it because my rival sucks? Is that why? Or does it not really do anything? The rivalry system is kind of new with this iteration of the game, and it has just shown up for me. So I remember reading about it. That was like 5 months ago, so I don't quite remember what it does. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments about what the rivalry system can do, because I thought it would affect attendance, and it doesn't look like it does to me. So Joe Thornton was the first star of this game. He had an assist on each of our goals, 3 assists. Jody Hull, former Ottawa Senator, had an assist and was the second star for Tampa Bay. And Vili Peltonen for us was the third star with 2 goals. So Tampa Bay took a 2-0 lead in the first, and then Peltonen scored, assisted by Thornton and Nieuwendyk. So it was 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. There was no scoring in the second, and then in the third we ran away with the win with 2 late goals. Peltonen from Thornton and Nieuwendyk, and Marian Osa on the power play from Thornton and Alexei Yashin. And that was a 3-2 win. Oh, so the Carolina Hurricanes did fire Darcy Regier, so he is gone. And who's replacing him? Ted Nolan. Oh. Ted Nolan was a little bit of a harsh coach. They better start skating over there. He's gonna be mean to them. All right. And looks like we have the yearly Chris Chelios extension. Looks like they only re-up him 1 year at a time. He's so old, I guess that makes sense. But he's still a 5-star player. So a 1-year contract extension. He's going to be making $3.18 million a year. Still in Chicago. Hasn't been traded. So we are playing now against the Vancouver Canucks, who are in town. They are 24, 27, and 6. And we did lose the one game we played in Vancouver 2-1. So hopefully we're going to be able to beat them this time. Alright, the Canucks are sending Guard Snow in net. We're going with Mike Dunham. And we won 5-0. Another shutout from Mike Dunham. He's starting to pile those up. I don't mind it at all. Oh, actually, Vancouver outshot us 29-26. Guard Snow just didn't have a very good game, I suppose. Dunham was the first star of the game, 29 saves. Yashin, the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Marian Osa was the third star with a goal and an assist. So we had 10,243 people in attendance. Yashin scored in the first period, assisted by Osa and McCabe, so we were up 1-0 after 1. We scored 3 times in the second. Shara scored from Zvela and Datsuk, and then Alfredson scored his 20th from McIver and Alexei Yashin. Then Nieuwendyk scored his 25th on the power play from Yashin. It was 4-0. And then in the third, Marian Osa scored on the power play from Zvela and Joe Thornton. There you go. Okay, now we are heading in Florida for a quick 2-game trip down there. Milan Hajduk has a great game. He scored 4 goals against Dallas. Yes, pretty good game for Milan Hajduk indeed. Now we are playing in Florida against the Panthers. We just played them not too long ago. They have now dropped to 17, 27, and 14. Alright, so we are 2-0 against them this year. But we haven't played them in their building, so maybe they're going to be tougher at home. We lost 3-0. John Van Beesbrook with the shutout. I forgot to say that it was Mike Bonhomme against John Van Beesbrook in net. So we outshot them 28-25. So Van Beesbrook got the first star of the game with his 28 saves. Sergei Samsonov was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Kenny Johnson was the third star with 2 assists. So nothing much to look at from our perspective. We were shut out, and Philip Kuba's suspension is over. Now we are going to play in Tampa Bay. Rivalry. Dynamic passing leads to productive night for Craig Janney. He had 4 assists against Anaheim. Pretty good. That's a scouting report. And then Pittsburgh has offered us has made a trade offer. They are offering Josef Melikar for Rob Niedermeyer. Is Melikar going to develop to 2 stars? Probably not. I think I like to keep Niedermeyer. Hopefully get something a little bit better than that. Oh wow, so the league made a little gift to the Sens that year. They sent them in Florida for their little Florida trip, but they've put 3 days in between games, so they got to stay in Florida in February when the weather is probably really nice. That's nice. Those are pretty good work conditions. Strong night for Ryan Smith in Edmonton. He had 4 assists against Boston. And suspension over for Ian LaPerriere in St. Louis. He is back. Alright, so now we are playing this rivalry team that doesn't show anywhere but, with that little logo there. And which has, to me, at this point, unknown impact. So we just played Tampa Bay. They are 22, 32, and 4. We won 3-2 in Ottawa just a week ago. We're going back to Mike Bonhomme. They are going to Brian Boucher. And we won 4-3. Yeah, they played us pretty tight, I would say. We outshot them 29-28, so I would say that it's pretty tight. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals for us. Rob DiMaio for Tampa Bay was the second star with a goal, and Marian Osa a goal and an assist for the 3rd star. So Le Cavalier scored first in the first, then Thornton scored his first goal on the power play from Yashin and Osa. It was tied at 1, then Paul Mara scored, and then Joe Thornton scored his second from Nieuwendyk and Norm McIver, so we were tied at 2 after 1. And then Marian Osa scored on the power play. That's his 19th. So Marian Osa is going to probably reach the 20-goal plateau for the first time of his career. From Zvela and Peltonen, and then Thornton on the power play from Zvela and Yashin. And then Rob DeMaio scored. It was 4-3 after 2, and that score would hold, and we would win the game. Good night for Joe Thornton. He had a hat trick. I know I was there in Florida. I've been on the beach and everything. It was awesome. Alright, Shane Corson has played in 1,000 games, so Corson now playing for Buffalo. He did get an assist during that game. Peter Svoboda, still in Buffalo, is back from suspension. The league says no suspension for Kevin Haller of the Vancouver Canucks. Alright, and we are about to host the New York Rangers. We have not been playing well against the Rangers this year. We have lost all 3 meetings. Rangers are 8 in the East right now. They are 31-25-7. And of course, as we have seen earlier this month, they are without Brian Leach. So there's only 3 games left in February for us here today. So let's get that going. So hopefully we can win at least one against them this year. Alright, I'm gonna need to pause my microphone for a minute. Please excuse me. Okay, that's better. I'm sorry about that. So the Rangers are going to be sending Patrick Lalime in net. We are going to be going with Mike Dunham. Hopefully Dunham can get us one of those good games of his. He has 6 shutouts this year, so he's been pretty good. And we won 5-2. Alright, so we finally beat the Rangers. We had 44 shots on goals. They had 20. We had 11,713 people in attendance. Roman Hammerlich was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Brian McCabe was the second star with a goal. And Thomas Holmstrom, a goal and an assist, was the third star. So we traded goals in the first period. Mike Sillinger scored for us, assisted by Datsuk. Then Brandon Morrison tied it up. It was 1-1 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second. Roman Hammerlich on the power play from Alfredson and McIver. And then McCabe from Hammerlich and Thornton. It was 3-1 for the Sens after 2. And then Thomas Holmstrom, assisted by Matt Cullen, made it 4-1. Mark Messier scored. It was 4-2. But then Roman Hammerlich scored in an empty net from Thomas Holmstrom. And it was 5-2. And that's our final score today. Doug Huda and Patrick Poulin are available. Not gonna bother with them. Pat Verbeek has competed in 1,250 games. So Verbeek still playing in Carolina. Alright, that's... Alright, here. Hopefully that... I took a screenshot of that. Adam on their forums asked me to report the emails that I see that have mistakes in them. So that's one of those where it says like error text category, get text, So anyway, so Pat Verbeek did play in his 1,250 game and didn't get a point. Alright. We are now playing in Pittsburgh, so we're gonna go on the road for 3 games. Only 2 of them are gonna be played on this video because the third one is in New York on March 2nd. Lidstrup sideline with, what's that, Yatissimus Dorsey strain. I'm not sure what that means, but he's out for 2 weeks. So another good defenseman is hurt. Although 2 weeks is not too bad. That's maybe, what, 5 games, 6 games, maybe? Suspension for Edmonton's Miroslav Shatan. He's going to miss 6 games. Sergei Berezin in Montreal is suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. Brendan Shannon extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against Chicago. Oh, PJ Axelsson found his gloves. They were in Patrick Roy's equipment bag. If I'm PJ Axelsson, I'd probably break Patrick Roy's legs or something. Not that it would benefit me at all, because Montreal is not at all playing well and, you know, fighting with us for the top of our division or nothing like that. I'm just saying that this is unacceptable. Alright, so we got a trade proposal from the St. Louis Blues, who are offering us a very old and aging Raimo Elmanen for Brad Larson. I'm going to say no thank you. Alright, playing in Pittsburgh. So for the first time, we're lining up against Pittsburgh pretty decently this year. We have won both meetings against them so far. Pittsburgh is 31, 23, and 8. So they're pretty good. They have 70 points. They are 7th in the East, so they've climbed back up. Earlier this season when I played them, they were outside of the playoff picture. Now they're inside. So let's hurt them by winning this game. Mike Dunham is going to be our starter. We're going to face the veteran Tom Barrasso. We lost 5-3. Despite outshooting them 37-27. Let's see. Andrei Morozov was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Joe Nieuwendyk, second star, a goal and an assist. And Rick Tocchet was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. We actually took a 2-0 lead in that game. So Nieuwendyk scored in the first from McCabe and Peltonen. Then Magnus Arvidsson from McIver and Matt Cunnan. So it was 2-0 for us after one. Then Tocchet scored in the second. It was 2-1. Then they scored 3 goals. Joe Thornton gave us a little bit of hope by scoring, assisted by Joe Nieuwendyk. It was 4-3 for the Pens at that point, but Morozov scored 27 seconds later on the power play, and that was it. 5-3 loss. Alright, there's been a trade between the Blues and the Islanders. Oh, that's... I mean, it's not superstars. Again, the superstars don't get traded, but that's still an interesting trade. So, St. Louis sent Alexander Kavanagh and Cody Rudkowski to the Islanders for Steve Thomas and Bjorn Milling. So I guess Milling has some potential. Can't say I'm familiar with his name, so I'm not sure he's going to reach his potential of a star and a half. Yeah, I think the Islanders probably won that. Steve Thomas is old. I mean, he's not going to help the Blues very much. The Blues are playing better lately, but still, that's probably not good enough to be close to the playoffs. Maybe they want to really try to make it or something. I don't know. That's a weird deal to me. Alright, and last game in February for us in Boston against the Bruins. So this is a leap year. So we are going with Mike Dunham. He played yesterday, so why not? Playing against Yevgeny Nabokov, the guy we were unable to sign last year. And we won 2-1, so we ended up the month with on a positive note with a win. We outshot Boston 33-26. Roman Hammerdick was our first star of the game with an assist. Glenn Murray was a second star with an assist as well, and Johnny Van Dyke was a third star with a goal. So Johnny Van Dyke from Roman Hammerdick and Brian Berard scored in the first. It was 1-0 for us. There was a lot of penalties in that game. So 1-0 for us after one, and then we traded goals in the third. Alfredson scored his 21st on the power play from Zvela and Yashin. Then Adam Oates made it 2-1 on the power play, but that was it. And we won 2-1. Alright, and this is where we're going to be. This is where we're going to be stopping. So Steve Duchesne has reached 500 assists in his career. So Duchesne now playing for LA. Got an assist against... Oh, see, that's another one. Yeah, if I take a picture, it's going to overwrite the other one. I'm going to need to let that one go. Brendan Shan extends his point streak to 13. So he had an assist against Philadelphia. Okay. Alright, Johnny Van Dyke is starting to regress a little bit. I don't like that. Alright, so, oh wow, I guess St. Louis did turn things around and had a good month, because both the goaltender and the player of the month awards goes to them. So Stéphane Fizet and Brendan Shannon, both of St. Louis, got the honors. So I guess they had a really good month. Alright, so where are we standing? So we have Bill Guerin out still for a month or two. Which is a shame. I was thinking about maybe trading him at the trade deadline. Now I won't be able to do that. We are second in the East. So we have 77 points. Look at that. Florida now has moved up to third in the East with their 54 points. That's terrible. If it wasn't for the seeding, they would be like 10th, 11th. Wow. That's bad. But that was all the seeding was back then. So we have 77 points. Montreal has 77 as well. I'm guessing we are at top because of our wins. They have a lot of ties. Alright, and now the worst team in the East is not Buffalo anymore, it's Washington. Alright, and now as far as the conferences go, now in the West, Detroit is still by far the best team in the league. Colorado, Phoenix, Edmonton, LA, Chicago, Dallas, San Jose. So San Jose has been not playing as well lately. And look at the Blues. They're only 5 points out of a playoff spot, so I guess maybe that's why they went for Steve Thomas. Maybe they were like, we're going to get that veteran guy that can score goals to try to help us get over the hump there. So, yeah. So Nashville is the worst team in the league with 33 points. Alright, so we are looking like that for the stats. So New Van Dyke had a little bit of a better month in February, so now he's 66 points in 63 games. Yashin, 63 points in 59 games. And then Osa, wow, Osa is really starting to play really well. 46 points in 63 games. Alfredson, 45 in 59. Zvela, 42 in 63. Pretty good defenseman for us, Robert Zvela. Pretty good pickup for us. Then Peltonen has 39 points in 59, and then it starts to dwindle down from there. So we're doing pretty good over there. Now for the league. So for the league, Kovalev is the best goal scorer at 43. Is he going to get to 50? He needs 7 in a month and a half. I think he can do it. Mario Lemieux has 55 assists. He's the best passer. And Kovalev is atop the league for points. Best scorer, Alex Kovalev, with 88 points. So a little surprising. Not too much. I mean, Kovalev was a pretty good player when he felt like playing. Yeah. Other than that, Pavel Datsyuk has 2 short-handed goals. That's good. All right, not looking too shabby there. So, whenever you're pretty high in the standings, and that after a month you can say that you're exactly where you were at, when you started, that's usually pretty good. So we have managed to maintain ourselves, and there's only a month and a half left in the season. Let's see. Yeah. Nothing's a given. If we have a horrible month of March, that could all, go away. So let's not take anything for granted, but we're looking to be in a pretty good position. I'm going to go ahead and save my game, because it would be a shame to be losing all of that progress. And I am going to thank you for tuning in, as usual. And if you've liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until I roll this game again, see you guys next time. Thank you.